One thing I forgot to mention, which I wanted to mention, at the end of Perfect Strangers, when they do like the sort of ending climactic finale, um, Ian Gillan quotes Gethsemane, I Only Want to Say, the song he sang in Jesus Christ Superstar, that I don't want to taste its poison. They do a nice, quick little Gethsemane quote. I always thought that was pretty cool. Anyways, I forgot to mention that. What's up, people? I'm Shaggy, the Opinionated Hippie, continuing my deep dive into Deep Purple's live albums. Currently on live album number 7, Nobody's Perfect. This is the 1988 release that documented the 1987 House of the Blue Light tour. I'm on this album. If you have the if you have the ability to isolate the audience sound on 4 of the tracks and then isolate every single individual voice, maybe you can hear me. I was at the Irvine shows, Irvine Meadows. Those Highway Star, Strange Kind of Woman, Perfect Strangers, and the Encore, Woman from Tokyo, are all from those shows, from the shows I was at. I think there were actually 2 of them that they played, but all these were from the second of the 2 shows. Maybe there was only one. I don't remember. I went to the second one, the one that's on here. But yeah, though you probably actually can't hear me because I was on the lawn and I don't have a really loud yelling voice, and I probably wasn't yelling anyways. So anyways, but I was at those shows. I love this album. I think it's a fun album. This is the album. This is the era I discovered Deep Purple in the 80s, and the Perfect Strangers, post Perfect Strangers era. Unfortunately, they would soon, I guess not that soon. But they didn't quite. Perfect Strangers was a really good album. They started to fall off after House of a Blue Light, but the tours were still really good, and I think this is a really good show. It's a lot of stuff that's previously been released, with 3 new songs. I think 2 of them are. One is from couple Perfect Stranger songs, couple House of the Blue Light songs. But I think they all work. I think they did a good job of kind of picking the right songs. It's maybe only one that I would say, could have done something else. This is essentially the set list, at least the show I saw. There are 2 songs missing. The third song of the show, which is just gone, was The Unwritten Law. And then later on in the back half of the show, I think it was after Knocking at Your Back Door, which is flipped here with Child in Time. When I saw them, they were flipped. They did Rainbow's Difficult to Cure, but those are not on here. Everything else, at least this is the show that was played in the order the songs were played in, minus the fact that, or with the difference of Knocking at Your Back Door and Child in Time flipping the order. I think that's pretty much the set list. I think it sounds pretty good. I think the band sounds like they're having fun. I love Blackmore's, the sound of his guitar. I love his guitar playing. I'm a huge Richie fan. I think he sounds fantastic. They're having a good time. There are some editing choices, but not actually with the release, but the songs that were chosen. We'll get to that as we get to the second half of the album. And I don't know if any of these performances are maybe the best performance of any particular song. Like if I had to pick the best Highway Star or the best Strange Kind of Woman or the best Child in Time, I'm probably not picking anything off this release for any of these, except maybe like the new songs, which I don't know if they're going to be repeated in future albums. But none of it is bad. And I think the energy is really good. And it's really hard for me not to like a live Deep Purple album. So this is a good hang. Opens up with Highway Star, which I think just sounds fantastic. Nice and jammy and playful and good energy. And what a fantastic live opener. I remember seeing this. I can still remember standing there and them opening with this and just mind blown after these initial 6 minutes. I was in heaven. I knew this was going to be a good show. Strange Kind of Woman follows. Nice playful ending. Both of the Blackmore solos are fantastic. They do the Superstar jam at the end where when they do that breakdown and they're like trading licks, they go into Jesus Christ Superstar and do a like quick little Jesus Christ, full band version before they drop into the playfulness. Good playful energy, you know. This has become a thing. It's a shtick that they do at the end of Strange Kind of Woman, where they go back and forth, and Richie plays a lick, he sings a lick, Ian sings a lick, Richie plays a lick. It's a thing they do. But it doesn't sound tired. It doesn't sound stale. It sounds fun. I have fond memories of it. That's song number 2. We get Dead or Alive, a newer song next. I like this song. It closes out, I think it closes out Perfect Strangers, right? It's not from House of Blue Light. It's from Perfect Strangers. No, it is House of Blue Light. It's the final song on House of Blue Light. I like this song. It's a really good high energy, like hard rocker. They throw this sort of bluesy jam in the beginning of it, like this slow blues jam, before they go into the song proper, which Ian announces that it's going to be dead or alive, and then they do this bluesy thing. So I'm like, don't announce it's going to be Dead or Alive so that like when we drop into it, it's a surprise. So that always kind of irks me. I don't think they need that intro. I like the song. I think it's good energy. It's got good playing in it. But yeah, they do. They drop this little weird thing in it. Bluesy, like slow blues type jam. We get Perfect Strangers. Fantastic. Beast of a song. Great live. You can hear the moment when during the middle section when they go dun-dun-dun and they really play those like symphonic chords. When they had lasers. I still remember the lasers shooting out because lasers were still pretty new in the mid-'80s, and it was exciting to see a band use lasers, and you can hear the crowd's reaction when the lasers go off for the first time. There's a big ah from the audience. Irvine was having a moment. Then we get 2 newer songs from House of the Blue Light, Hard Lovin' Woman. Love this song. This is another one that has really great energy. The middle, Richie does his like typical Hard Lovin' Woman solo, which I actually think is better on the studio album. I think it's like a slide guitar solo on the album. Here it's just a straight solo. And then they go into like an Under the Gun riff, Under the Gun being from Perfect Strangers, and he solos over that for, I don't know, like 30 seconds or so. And then they quote Pomp and Circumstance, and then they go back into Hard Lovin' Woman. So that's a pretty good time. Then they do Bad Attitude. This is maybe the one song in here I wish they wouldn't have played. They did play it live. There weren't other songs from this album that could have substituted here, but I think this is the most generic of the new songs. They stretch it out at the end with like a reprise jam. They make that little synth kind of cool down ending, a little more cool downy, and then they drop kind of a bigger ending at the end where endings go. Don't think it's necessary. Richie Blackmore's solo is cool, but this is maybe the weak track on air. And then we close out the first half of the album, the first disc of the 2-disc set, with Knocking at Your Back Door. My only issue with this is in the beginning of like, before they play the song, Lord gets a chance to like solo, but it's not like this organ solo as the song has. It's like this electric piano solo. And he does this little Beethoven Fur Elise. He like plays around, then he plays some Fur Elise by Beethoven. Then he plays some Chuck Berry rollover Beethoven. So we kind of get a little Beethoven playfulness, and then we get some synth action. Then we finally get that opening like sound from Knocking at Your Back Door. But then he doesn't solo or mess around with that sound. They go right into the song. And I wish he had had a longer time to do like an organ drenched thing and not like an electric piano thing. My only other complaint. But then the build up into Knocking at Your Back Door is absolutely fantastic. Just absolutely just really cool, really huge. Just such a live energy. Yeah, fantastic version of this. Both of Blackmore solos are fantastic. After his second solo, they kind of return to the groove and like do this like like playing around with that Knocking at Your Back Door groove before they end the song. So they tack on a little extra at the end. The second disc opens up with A Child in Time. It's a good Child in Time. Like at this point, Richie just does what Richie does. I always feel like Child in Time is just, it makes me feel comfortable when the song starts. It's like, okay, I know exactly what's going to happen for the next 10 minutes. I know we're going to get this awesome like song. We're going to go into this middle section. Blackmore's just going to shred just cuz for like 2.5, 3 minutes. Ian's gonna wail at the end. We're gonna get a closing jam. Like it's all here. They do it well. Um, it almost it hasn't really it hasn't lost its interest, but you can tell how maybe they're starting to like it's becoming a thing that they just do. Like they know every night this is just going to be part of it, and it's it's a good chunk of time. So there is a little roteness to the performance. I would say Smoke on the Water a little bit suffers from that. I would say Space Truckin' suffers from that maybe more than anything in this latter half. So as we get to the latter half and we're getting songs that they've played now for like more than a decade, a little bit of that just edge is lost, but they're still such good musicians. You can tell they're having a good time, and Blackmore can still shred, and Pace is still good on drums, and all of the pieces are still functioning at a high level. It's just you can tell something's just turned off, but it's still a good child in time. Then we get a Lazy. I like this Lazy. It's kind of we don't get the Lord intro, so we don't get that awesome keyboard action in the beginning. We just get like a minute and a half of a straight like Richie Blackmore led jam. Then we go into really, really, really high energy, fast paced Lazy. We tear through this thing, but I don't feel like we're trying to get it out of the way as much as the energy is just high and everybody's really enjoying it. And we're just stepping up the pace a little bit because it's a fun song to play at a faster pace. That's my thoughts. Then we get Space Truckin'. This also feels a little standard. We do get a nice like 50-second slow where it's just the cymbals and this organ drench before we get the dun the drop into the song. That's kind of nice. And then after that we get the encores. Black Knight, great to hear. Pretty sure this is the first Black Knight we've heard like on this channel, right? Because I've only done the original releases and the live albums up to here. This is like the first official Black Knight. Love hearing Black Knight. Blackmore's playing is great. I don't like the fact that at the end, Ian's like, hey, everybody sing along. Woo, does a little audience participation. These are the encores. I think in the live situation, there's a little more looseness to it because it just feels like you're prolonging the evening, so do it. But don't need to listen to it a lot. Woman from Tokyo, we get a great intro. We go into the song. We do like a verse and a chorus, and then Ian just starts talking about other things. He starts singing Buddy Holly's Every Day, talks about how they watch the Buddy Holly story, talks about how they like to fool around at the end of the shows. We get like a minute and a half of Woman from Tokyo. They keep ripping us off. Like they keep not giving, they keep promising it on live, on the cover of live albums, but not delivering. But I still like what I hear. I was there. I remember it in the moment. I thought it was fun. And then we get a Smoke on the Water with sing along at the end, which I don't need. But again, Blackmore's solo is fantastic. I can hear Blackmore play guitar all the time. So that's good. And then for really no reason, like I just don't think this needed to be here, they throw in a live studio version of Hush. And I don't know. Just don't need a live studio version of Hush. I know rumor has it, I think they also did a live studio version of Black Knight. I think that may have been a little more interesting, but I don't need this. But it's there if you want it. But as far as this goes, I think the first CD with the newer songs is to me the greater listen. I think the opening Highway Strange is fantastic. Dead or Alive works. Perfect Strangers is a classic. Hard Lovin', that middle jam with the Under the Gun quote is really cool. Bad Attitude is pretty much the only hit or the only miss. And Knockin', once you get past like the electric piano stuff, is just absolutely fantastic. And the second half, you feel like they're checking it, they're just kind of mailing in a little bit, but they're still paying for the expensive postage and the really, really nice stamps, so Child in Time, Space Truckin', Smoke on the Water, right? They're not going to beat other versions, but they're not bad. And Richie Blackmore is still playing the guitar. So yeah, where would I rank this among the others? I have it at number 4. It's just, yeah, I have it at number 4. I like to listen to this a lot. It's really good. It's solid. It sounds great. The energy's good. Noted my complaints, but I don't in any way think it's a bad listen at all. And it's hard not to like Live Deep Purple, and this is just a really, really fun document of their 87 tour. Yeah, all right. That's all I got. Let me know your thoughts on this album, why you like it, why you don't, all that stuff. And that's about it. Peace. Subscribe, like, share, comment, do all those things. And peace. Talk to you later.